Well, all good things must come to an end. Here at the Aussie Wire, we've been very gladly following the journey of Matt Lawson as he's walked from Melbourne to Brisbane, raising money and raising awareness of jab injuries and raising support for Jab Injuries Australia. Well, unfortunately, he reached the end of that epic road trip while we were in between episodes and we weren't able to catch up with him there. But he's now making his way back down towards Melbourne, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity to celebrate this remarkable moment with the man himself, Matt Lawson. Welcome back to the Aussie Wire.
Hey Topher, how are you? I hope you're well.
Mate, I'm doing very well. Every time I have a guest on this show, I have to decide what I'm going to title them. I put their name up in the corner, Matt Lawson. I have to decide what I'm going to call them. And I've sort of said of you, I've said, raising money for Jab Injuries Australia. I've said, you were the first bloke to get shot with a rubber bullet, which was sadly true down in Melbourne. But I've come up with a name that I'm going to stick with now, I think. If I could hit the correct button, that would help. So Matt Lawson, freaking legend. I think that's going to be my title for you from now on here on the Aussie Wire, because that's what I reckon you are. Mate, how do you feel having done all of that? You've been walking for weeks and weeks and weeks straight. Are your legs getting used to the idea that you don't have to walk all of a sudden?
Yeah, well, the first couple of days afterwards, I was trying to relax and I had that bug where I needed to walk. So they've let me free on a bit of a leash out the side of the car every now and then. So, no, in all honesty, my feet are really sore. So I am getting a lot of rest right now and sort of trying to keep the food intake up and the water intake. It was a bit of a large journey, I would say, and the body got into a bit of shock from it. But nah, I'm enjoying my time off now. It's really great.
Well earned. And here's a beautiful video that's been put together by one of your supporters and taking a bunch of the photographs that you took along the road and along the way. What's it like seeing a place as big and as broad and on the one hand as diverse, but also and at the same time as monotonous as Australia? And what's it like seeing all of that in the slowest way possible? Do you get bored, or do you just start to see magic in all the details along the way?
It's the second part. You definitely see the magic. Like I was saying to people, they said, how did you take up the time while you were walking? And I told you early on, I didn't have any earphones in. I wasn't listening to music. So I saw everything. You're watching from the butterflies, dragonflies to, I pretty much talked to every single cow I walked past. Like you literally notice everything around you. You take in the surrounds, and we really live in a beautiful country and we take it for granted. And I think that, everyone should get out there and visit, different places in Australia. I wouldn't suggest walking it, but get out there and really explore Australia. We live in a beautiful place.
Now, you've been supported by some beautiful people along the way. You had a bit of a special person with you as you got up towards Toowoomba, etc. She was there for very, very real, very personal reasons. Can you tell us a little bit about her and a little bit about some of the other supporters that you've had along the way?
Yeah, so when we got to Toowoomba, there was a lady, and I got her story about a year ago. But while I set off on the walk, her name's Raylene. Her daughter, Caitlin, passed away from the jabs back in 2021. And, in Toowoomba, she walked to the last 4.5 Ks into the town with me. She told me all about her personal story and her journey and how hard it's been for her to get closure, because there's no accountability. There's no accountability for this injection that her daughter got a medical procedure thinking it was safe and effective to keep her job and consequently lost her life. And I don't know that she'll get any closure until there's some accountability for what happened there. So walked into that town with her and we were greeted by all the people in Toowoomba, which is a beautiful area. Lots of people there that are aware of what's going on around Australia and around the world. And we had other stories right along the way of people that were jab injured, people that knew of others that were coerced and pushed towards this. And while we were walking, I think the New Zealand Prime Minister the Prime Minister in the election run-up is saying that no one was forced to get these jabs. And it makes you shake your head, because we all know how much pressure was put on people. And while you might not use the word forced, coercion was definitely at play. And a lot of people are hurting physically, mentally. I think as a country, we've gone through a hard time. But as I keep saying to you over and over again, the Aussie spirit is very strong. And Absolutely. It is still flowing out there in the country towns.
Well, it's a beautiful thing you've done. You've brought a lot of people together, but beautiful can't be said of this picture. I apologise in advance to my guests. Look, mate, I'm not a foot guy to start with, but this This is a particularly unattractive set of feet here. When was this photo taken? How far into the journey were you?
That was around about halfway. Luckily for you guys, you didn't get the third and fourth day of the trip. I had no calf. My leg went from my knee to my foot. I had literally what you would call cankles.
Yep.
It was pretty bad. And, all of that, as I keep on mentioning again and again, what I've found through this journey is you lose that ego, you lose that sense of self and become, you're almost doing it out of body experience, because even though you're in a lot of pain, you're thinking all the time about the people that are injured and they're stuck at home. They can't work. They may have something that's a lifelong problem, and you're going to get home and I can soak my feet and, look after myself over the following, next couple of weeks to months. These people are going to be suffering the whole time. But yeah, I'm definitely not a foot person either. And I used to have quite attractive feet, I would say, but not anymore.
If you do say so yourself. Look, I'll take your word for it. I never want to see them again. Now, you started the journey in Melbourne. You've walked to Brizzy. You're now making your way back down to Melbourne. When do you get back down to Melbourne? And I believe there's a bit of a gathering being held for you.
Yeah, we're heading back down the coast. We've already been through Coffs Harbour, Port Macquarie. They've had some really nice catch-ups for us. Tonight will be, tonight is Monday night. We'll be at Singleton.
This is a pre-record, everybody.
Back in time for you.
Last night you were at Singleton. How did that go, Matt? Tell me all about Singleton last night.
It was such a beautiful night. And then earlier today we're in Albury on Tuesday. And then tomorrow we're going to be in Melbourne. So we're getting back to Melbourne in the afternoon, around about 4:30 at Treasury Gardens. People are putting together a welcome back for us, which is going to be really amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I will have been in Albury with you earlier today by the time this goes to air. So I'm looking forward to shaking your hand there. And then here are the details here on the screen. Or you can find the Mac Dawson Facebook page, or we'll put the Facebook page for the walk itself into the as a link into the description of this video so that you can find the details yourself. Look, Matt, it's an incredible thing you've done. This is going to take a little while for you to recover from. There's no pressure or expectation for you to already know what you're going to work on next. But is there a bit of a plan? Do you have an idea of what you're rolling towards next?
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be continuing to advocate for jab injuries.
Sure.
The big thing that I've said is no one should be left behind. It's kind of a bit of a war cry from back in the old days, but we can't leave these people behind. We tend to have short memories and we move forwards quite quickly when there's disasters or issues happening in Australia. So I'm going to be continuing to advocate for Jab Injuries Australia and trying to help them get the voice of these people out there. I'll also be hopefully heading up towards Uluru in regards to the voice vote. So there's a lot of different things going on, but I'm not going to move away from jab injuries. I think we need to keep on keeping these people at front of mind for politicians, the media, and anyone else we can get it out in front of.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree. Matt Lawson, it's been a pleasure to document this trip all the way through. You're a freaking legend, and that's what you will forever be here on the Aussie Wire every time you join us in future for whatever the next project, the next mission for you may be. Thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations, and I look forward to shaking your hand as you come through Albury on your way to Melbourne on Tuesday.
Thanks, Topher. Thanks, Aussie Wire. Everyone subscribe and stay on board.
Cheers.